Hey, I'm Glennis, founder of Black Scranton. Guest today on Dumb, Naked, and Broke, and let's get into it.
I'm Naked and Broke. Welcome back. I'm your host, Emmanuel Wisdom. Today I have a special guest, a friend of mine as well, in the studio. Took the trip down from Scranton, 570, and spending some time here in the 215. She's an educator, an advocate, sociologist, and the founder of Black Scranton. She's also a pro rollerblader on the weekends. Glennis Johns.
Thanks for having me, and love to be here. Great friends. Love Philly. I was at an event, a sip and skate, hosted by Skateadelphia and Tot Lock and Drop It. It was really cute. It was a great day. So thanks for having me, Philly, showing so much love. But yes, doing the things, trying all the things.
Yeah, I'm glad you were having a good time in the city. For today, I was on Instagram probably, I believe, 2 days ago, and I saw you posted something about skating at Marywood.
Yeah, I did. I did that.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fascinating because you kind of talked about, you looked into like the policies of the do and the don'ts. And I thought it was interesting because a lot of time we take things kind of on the surface.
Yeah.
And aren't doing our own like research to understand for ourselves. So, but also I don't know anything about the situation. So, can you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Thank you for allowing me to expand, because I'm happy to talk about it. Because it was something that really hit me deep. I'm not going to front. So people know I be skating as I do here and there, places that are available. I like a smooth, flat surface. In the skating community, tennis courts are known to be a place to skate. So looking around, I know a few places. Marywood's court, very nice, large. And I was like, let me get online. Let me look at their policy, see what they got going on. Are we allowed to skate? Is it prohibited just across the board? Nothing available. So I figured, okay, I can skate there. Pretty much did that all summer. And then a couple days ago, 3 officers approached me and then kind of jockeyed me a little bit, like I was gonna flee. But I'm in an enclosed tennis court, so I was just like, what is this energy for? Like, what am I doing? I had my AirPods in. There was retired neighbors who were just playing tennis in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I know how to vibe is.
Yeah, you know the vibe. That was your school.
I attended.
Facts. You already know. So it's like you know the situation. Yeah. So they're like, we heard there were skaters there, and I said to them, well, it's just me. And then they said the maintenance called them, and to me it was funny because maintenance saw me skating multiple days. Like I watched them mow the lawn, weed whack, take the trash out. They'd wave to me, maintenance guy things. Yeah. So where is this energy coming from today? And then you're saying it's against policies, but nobody can produce the policies. To me, that felt targeting and kind of like, for what? Like, you just want to make me leave. I'm not bothering anybody. And the funny part is, the older retired folks just playing tennis on their leisure in the middle of the day were like, yo, that's really crazy that they're doing that, because you're a good skater and you're not bothering anybody. You're in the corner of the court, just skating.
So the court was open.
Yeah, it's open for recreation. They said it's against policies. You can't skate. It's prohibited. But I said, where does it say it's prohibited? And they can't produce it. And so it's like, the activity that I'm doing is bringing joy to a person, bringing joy to the other people there, not bothering anybody, interfering with anything, not damaging any property. So what's the problem? And the crazy part for me that was frustrating, which is why I wanted to post about it, is because I am a licensed contractor with that institution. If we're really talking about it, I'm an employee of Marywood, and wow. I'm doing things to help them become more equitable and diverse and inclusive and have greater programs and do some history. And here I am enjoying your facilities. And here you go bringing officers, more than one, because I'm being dangerous. But then you don't have a reason to say anything to me. But at the other side of all of that, I'm supposed to be helping you, but you won't even let me enjoy the things you have available on campus. What does that say about you? And why did you do that? And there's no policies to prove why it's okay. So then when I go to do some research, the only thing you can find about roller skating is these beautiful, nuns like on their campus. These sisters just roller skating, and it's like skating around the campus. We love to see it. Basically, what the school said. We love to see the skating. Here I am skating, and they hate it, and it's against policies. So for me, I had to express that, and like I'm doing all this work to make people seen, equity, just be able to be human beings doing regular things, brown people doing regular things. Why is it so threatening? And you guys want to praise me and act like, oh, it's Black Scranton right here. But I come to we're supposed to be community partners. I come to roller skate, not bother anybody. And you put your public safety after me.
Yeah.
How is that being an ally? How is that changing things? How is that not being racist and biased? How is that not being triggering? How is that not progressive? How is that not learning? How is this not reinforcing white supremacy? Show me the policies. So that's why I posted that. All love, because that beautiful photo, let's keep the legacy going. Let people skate. Why is it dangerous? So anyway, not to take up any more time or space.
No, absolutely.
It really impacted
absolutely.
me.
That's why we're here, is, to talk about these discussions and in a sense, it's, even though we're friends, but it feels like, we both kind of leverage our platforms for the better of the community.
Definitely.
And so conversations like this is always welcome.
For sure.
But, and again, like I said, looking into things, it's always provides a much clearer perspective and understanding. But even with the tennis court, I know the area, I know how it's set up, I know how people come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I haven't seen anyone like roller skate there, but I have seen people roller skate in that area. But I didn't even know that it was actually open when it was there, and people was actually there. And if it was like, it was just you and it's like, oh, it's after hours type stuff, or it's kind of different. But
it was just regular daytime hours. I wasn't blasting music. I had my AirPods in. I wasn't disturbing anybody.
Also, I didn't know you were an employee of Marywood.
I mean, in different,
technically,
in different things. I'm really like putting my life out there, but it doesn't matter. But I say all that to say is what it felt like to me, and I could be wrong, but until then, that's my perspective until somebody proves me otherwise, that it was triggering to see a Black woman just having a joyful experience, minding her own business. Why is she doing that? The audacity, I don't know. It just felt so like, what makes you feel like you can be free and joyful in this space? And you're not a student here. You know what I mean? But these old people who we know aren't students, they just, throwing a tennis ball. No shade. They're great. They're nice people. They're like, we're asking like, yo, why are they kicking you out? Like, we're confused. Yeah. But I say all that to say, a couple of days a week, that really brought public safety out there. And I didn't even know the public safety office was an eye shot away from the tennis court. So they can run the tapes. If they're so worried about me damaging the facility and all of that, why weren't they saying that in July or in August or in the beginning of September?
You have skated before.
Yeah, they could run the tapes.
Okay.
So to me, it just was weird. If maintenance had a problem and y'all gonna wave to me while you're mowing the lawn, but then today you want to call public safety. Yeah, why didn't you have that energy in August when I was doing the same thing then, or in July? Yeah. Before the students came back, we could have. But today's the day we wanted to do it. It just felt like. Anyway.
No, it felt like what it felt like, and it's okay to speak about it.
Yeah. But I think your art does the same thing. I think you have like a really beautiful way of expressing real topics that need to be said, or reminders like love, unity. All these things are right here, and they might not look like in any specific way, but it's all beautiful and individual too. So I don't know. I think you really have a great way to bring a message across and really inspire people. And
thank you.
Yeah. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, my ADHD is like kicking in crazy.
Yeah, take it all in. It's I'm glad
it's
you.
a privilege to be here.
Appreciate
I'm
the
honored.
space.
I'm like, thank you for inviting me and my friends.
Yeah, the feeling is mutual. I'm sure Rose is happy as well. Anyway, whenever I'm in Scranton, I always get the sense that I feel like you're someone who deserves recognition because of the community work, but also just because of your ability to bring people together um, in a cheerful light or celebratory setting. But when I'm in the city, I'm not sure if we chat about this or not. I'm always kind of surprised when I chat with people and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know who Glennis Johns is." I'm like, "Black Scranton." They're like, "Yeah, I don't know what that is." So it's kind of like I guess the situation is what it is, but at the same time, just looking at it in the light of just you being who you are and what you do in Scranton. Like, in all honesty, Scranton's not that big. So,
yeah, it's really not.
News and, things happen and everyone's going to know about it. So when I'm in the city and I'm working and doing some things and, conversation comes up and people are like, "Oh, I don't know who Glennis is." Usually, I'm like, "All right, I'll put you on to her, show you what she does and what she's about and whatnot." But it's very surprising when I get that reaction from people and they don't know who you are.
Well, appreciate it because AKA the Electric Lady, AKA Glendiana Jones, AKA the real Glen Coco. We out here, we do a lot of things in many spaces, but also, yeah, Black Scranton all day. You already know.
Yeah, shout out Black Scranton. I feel like, at the very start of when I was about to kind of build all of this, I kind of met you kind of around the same time you was doing the same thing with Black Scranton. So that connection's always been dope.
Yeah, when I saw you at First Friday, I wanted to do a Black art exhibition. I said, I need to find some Black artists. I don't even know where to look. You know what? The next First Friday, I'm going to go out and just see who's around, ask around, see what's happening. I go out, crash into Travis's art, crash into you at the print shop on Adams Avenue.
That was the first time you met Travis?
Well, I saw his art in the window at the Leonard.
Interesting.
And I was like...
That same day?
That same day or week. It was that same week.
Got it.
And then I met you and you had your pins and prints. And my mom turned to me and she was like,
yeah, shout out to Chris Metley. She was like, you gotta be prepped. Gotta be prepared for this day.
Wow, that was such a moment. Yeah. So my mom was there. She tapped me on the shoulder. She's like, you need to ask him to be in your art exhibit. And I was like, I definitely do. So I'm like, I'm doing this thing. I've never done, a little art exhibit, but I want to spotlight Black artists in the area. And you want to do it? Do you believe in this project? It could be cool. And you said, yeah. So.
Hell yeah, I said yeah.
And you honestly, you created the look of Black Scranton. So I appreciate that because you created our very first logo and it's still dope and I still use it and I still, I appreciate you because you really helped.
Thank you.
You helped me express what Black Scranton is and can be, and early on in what Black Scranton was trying to be. You know what I mean? So yeah, I appreciate you for that because amazing, and you're doing incredible things. I'm always like, yo, my friend E over here is doing all of this, so cool. Oh, so
yeah, incredible things like napping on a Sunday.
Hey, that's amazing. That's love. That's blessings. I take a nap any day.
Yes.
For sure.
But I appreciate you as well. Thank you. And also when I met you, just as being a person, an individual, my brand after, our conversation became more conscious.
Yeah.
And so I started to, work with a lot more impact-driven people. So, shout out to you as well.
Yep.
But I got something here. Not sure if you how were you able to turn your master thesis research project titled "But You're Black" the overlooked community of Scranton, Pennsylvania, into basically Black Scranton Project?
I mean, it really did it on its own. Like, I basically, long story short, it came to me like, people really believe if you're Black, you can't be from Scranton, and if you are, you just came here from somewhere else, and you're like transient. And why is that? Like, why are we always seen as like not from here and othered? Right. So I thought maybe if I can see when the first like Black people started coming to Scranton, it'll help me figure that out. So once I started looking in that direction, all of these people, all of these moments, all of these things were just like, hey, we over here. Hey, we over here. And I realized we had like a really dope, strong, incredible Black community here in the city of Scranton.
I had that connection as well, because when I was, I think 2014, maybe 2015, when I was in Scranton, the winter, because I guess like winter semester into spring side of college work, like that first semester, I knew like 2 Black people on campus. And I didn't see any like other Black person in the city. I mean, I was probably out maybe 2 or 3 times in that winter. So that probably, yeah. And then spring as well. But I remember just like walking, and this one time, it was, I don't know how the city is kind of sectioned out, but I remember I was closer to Lackawanna County, or Lackawanna College,
downtown Central
and
City.
I started to see Black people, and I was like, this is kind of weird, because I felt a little bit, kind of segregated, but at the same time,
it's not untrue.
The realization hit me that that even though you might be in a city like Philly, where it's not as noticeable, or other places down south, or maybe in a small kind of put together city like Scranton, even though the population again is not that crazy, but it's still there.
It's substantial, like
so
6,000.
It was crazy, that I remember that from like being a freshman in the city.
Yeah, and it's like, honestly, to perspective of when you're there, because like as a school student, I can understand not knowing like anywhere to look where we at, like where'd y'all do, like where you be, because everyone's like, yeah, let's just go to these spaces,
right
so you don't really know. And that was the other thing. So yeah, I just wanted like us to find cool places to be and things to do that were like really for us, by us. And that,
shout out Fubu, low key.
Shout out Fubu, for real.
You like Kuja out here.
That was a moment. Remember the Fat Albert like Prince on the Fubu?
I'm not American.
Oh, so. Okay, but like Fubu was really like.
I had to put it out there.
All good.
Oh my. But yeah, never hear music again, or lose your ability to read.
Time out. That's a tough question.
I know.
And as a historian,
I feel like also, I feel like you didn't tell me you was a historian plus a sociologist. I feel like that conversation never came up. That's such a dope intro. If I had that on my resume.
Historian?
Both.
Oh.
If I had that on my resume, art is in the back. I swear to God.
Well, thank you. That's really nice.
But also, back to the question.
I don't know, and it's kind of like giving me anxiety to think about it.
Really?
But it's really hard to think, because like both of them are super like integral to my day. Even though, see, I don't want to. Oh wow, I really can't choose.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back.
Or not. Like that's hard. It's like choosing which child you like more. You can't do it. You can't.
Like I just can't read at all.
And then it's like,
it's funny,
even if you can't read, then don't get rid of the books.
People willingly choose to go through life like that.
That's very true.
So
that's very true. even just a little bit of reading, like, and even though like I have writing anxiety, I like to read.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
That's
we
fair.
Digress.
That's fair.
Good question though. Wow.
Yeah. But I feel like you're like thinking super hard now.
Well, yeah.
I heard somewhere
okay.
that you were supposed to, or you were thinking about medicine or medical school when you was at St. John's.
My
and then
freshman year.
What happened?
Now to think that was 10 years ago is out of this. Is intense.
Shout out freshman year.
You know.
Yeah.
Class of 2015, we really was out here. Anyway. But yeah, when I first got out of high school and like I went to college, I wanted to be in the medical field. My ideal goal is to be like an emergency room surgeon. I know intense, but I live an intense lifestyle. So I thought, Grey's Anatomy.
If you anyone of African descent anywhere, you live an intense lifestyle.
Exactly. They want doctors, lawyer, engineer.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else. Anything else? What are you doing? Are you my child? I don't know.
Doctor, lawyers, engineer. I mean, that shows a lot of ambition. You was going for the top.
But then I realized what it took to get there.
Yeah.
All of the human phys, biology, chemistry, all y'all that can do it and love it so much, I thank you because we need you. But for me, I realized it wasn't for me.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of ththings have to do with passion.
Yeah, and I was like, I already can tell. I said, my freshman year in college, if this is how I feel for the rest of my life, I'm not going to do it. I'm not. So I remembered that I liked some sociology. So I went there. First person who I saw, rest in peace to Dr. Roderick Bush. He was the first person I saw in the department. He was like, wow, like, oh, you're from Scranton, the Greyhound goes from. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. So I kind of tumbled into the sociology department. They really embraced me and I loved it. And then I thought I was going to be a sociologist and I loved photography at the time. So I was trying to do photography and sociology. And then that tumbled into doing historical work. And that tumbled into me now being like historian, curator, nonprofit, art, social curation.
Figure it out as we go. It's getting there.
Black Scranton.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's
Empire.
Awesome. That's awesome.
The center, arts and culture. Like the Schomburg of this area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Speaking of that center, I remember when you and I had chatted.
And you followed the journey. So I appreciate you. Like, I was
you were
trying to get it.
You were like, it's a possibility. And we were like, why not? And put some well wishes out there. And I remember you hit me again. I don't remember how long, but it took a while. For sure. And I kept telling you got to document that process because, like, that whole thing was, like, crazy. And I feel like it's such an inspiring thing because if you really think about
Thank you.
You were just saying, like, freshman year, 10 years ago, even though you didn't have that, like, idea at the time of what Black Scranton was, but, like, through, like, upbringing and whatnots, you kind of thought about how you fit into that space of, what Scranton is. So the idea of Black Scranton kind of manifested first, you thought about it in your head first.
Yeah.
And then had to kind of write out the ideas or, write out, I don't know, the web business thing of what Black Scranton is. And then that kind of led to you making some, connections. And then, but what I want to get to is the idea that was, planning in your head is now, physical projection in the city, which is very wild because I feel like that's such an inspiring thing because anyone of African descent growing up in the city can now see something and now have a thought and see something and, see a person and see a property or see a space.
Yeah.
And kind of, because there's a lot of, like, if you look at, like, if you think about how people think, there's a lot of, like, mental obstacles in a way, same as, like, physical obstacles. So definitely. Like, for you to be able to think in a much wider space, you first have to see things.
Yeah.
So like as a young person growing up in the city, being able to see you, the person, and then see, someone of African descent owning something that, thought kind of the net of, where that thought kind of can expand to
makes
it.
like
Yeah,
a
lot
effect.
more. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was dope. And, I always thought, people understanding what that took to, kind of get that building, someday looking back on that.
Well, I hope
really appreciate that.
I hope people kind of saw, and for the people listening, perhaps who don't know, I run a nonprofit. Black Scranton Project is a nonprofit, and PNC was gracious enough to donate one of their former properties to become the Black Scranton Project Center for Arts and Culture. So we took over this historic bank that was built in 1926, and we are now converting it into a Center for Arts and Culture, and we're going to make it like a space for a recording studio, a community kitchen, like a place to hang out, game room, library, like study spaces, like classroom space, conference space, all of that will be available in our facility, and plus our headquarters for the nonprofit. So PNC like really was like, yo, I believe that this can be great, and you want to preserve this, and also thinking about sustainability and trying to be kinder to our environment instead of tearing this down. And it has an incredible vault, and you can't just get rid of that. And like thinking about how you can still utilize this. It still has a lot of life left. This building is so incredibly beautiful and so much alive.
Yeah, it is.
So I wanted to preserve it and
African
save it.
marbles.
Black and gold African marble on the floor.
Those are really beautiful.
Almost 80-ton vault, Mosler vault, in this beautiful space. It's incredible. And I really thank PNC for, letting us acquire, like handing over this property for us to take care of and become a place where we can house and lock like the local Black wealth into the space. I feel like it's such a symbol of like the things we can do.
Right.
We have our own space to lock, hold, preserve, grow, invest into, and pour into. And, all of us can utilize and feel safe and feel fed and feel, anything. And I think it's really incredible. And I don't know. I'm still very much like humble and also shocked myself that I was able to think about something that I really wanted, did the work. It was not easy. It's still not easy to have it. Actually having it is probably harder than thinking about it, because now here it is. It's yours. You got to take care of this thing. Literally a giant child, actually. But I own a bank. Wow. I don't. Black Scranton owns a bank, but I'm the, protect, overlooker, not look, proprietor, I guess to say, of this space. But it's amazing. And
but
just to know that
I heard you, talk, and you kind of thank PNC, but most importantly, I would say, thank yourself.
Thank you. I thank myself.
Because I feel like, we
did it.
At times, we don't get to kind of take a moment and just kind of pause and just like reflect and just look at our own journey and, how far we've come with, ideas and things that, we've written down over the years.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, why, I wanted to kind of create a platform like this for a discussion like this, where, we kind of reflect on our own process and just kind of think about the beauty, the struggle, and all of it that, really came with how you got to where you got to.
And even like you helping me get to where I'm going to, let's not forget that part too. Remember my first exhibit in the mall, and you and Eric painted the windows? Oh my God. I stayed up for like 27 hours, and I don't know how. When I saw you guys, I was delusional at that point. And it was like negative 14 degrees. And I was like, how is this the world? Like, I
don't think we saw you when we.
I was like, here's pizza, y'all. Thank you so much for rocking with me, because I don't know if I'm gonna be asleep.
Yeah, Eric and I was out there all night, and then
the windows look so good, and the fact that the mall was like, oh, we don't know if you can paint the windows because we don't want them to look bad. Meanwhile, there's just this like cursive done with someone's eyes closed across the way. I said, these windows will be the best things you've ever seen. You guys put these window displays in. They're like, wow. Oh my God. Do you want to stay an extra month? And this is amazing. Who did it? Oh, wow. And it just showed me like people really didn't believe that we can do something beautiful. They're like, oh, they're just going to tear it up and make the space look crazy. We brought so much foot traffic. I tallied with I sat in that mall space.
As you should.
I sat in that mall space for 2 months. 7 weeks, I sat there and literally hand tallied everybody that came in. Over 16,000, or not 16,000, I'm kidding, I'm joking. 1,600 people came to the exhibit. And I was so grateful and so humble that so many people just wanted to come in to see Black history, or just curious about what was in here, or like people genuinely seeking this during Black History Month. It was so many different people, and it was crazy. And, you know, as someone who came through sociology and statistics, 1,600 people is like 2% of Scranton's overall population. So 2% of Scranton saw my display of what Black history is of Scranton. And that to me was really impactful. And to know that
probably never,
and felt inspired. So all those people are going to tell somebody else.
Exactly.
And it was just such a beautiful feeling. Like this old man came in, and Walker, 92 or 7, 8, 99. He was an old man, old white man. He came in and he walked up, because we blew up that big map.
Yeah.
He walked up with his little stroller and he was like, yeah, this used to be right here. And it was such a great time. And wow, these pictures like are really taking me back. And I didn't really have the strength to really make it here, but I really wanted to see this, because they told me I'll be able to see the blocks that I grew up on. I used to be here with the Italian families, because he was that old. And he was like, thank you. And he was like, the Black folks in the city were really amazing, and like was telling me all these things. And to me, to see, this old white man, he could have never cared. He'd be like, let them do what they do. But he really, and he thanked me, and he was like, this is really great. And, it was incredible moments like that proved to me it's not even about Blackness. It's truly about telling the full story of who we are. And Scranton is no different than other spaces. And that's how I was able to learn and come up with clues, because with Philadelphia, a lot of the community from Philly spent a lot of time in Scranton and vice versa. Because during that time, you can really only stay and be where Black people are. There's trains connecting this. People on their way to New York stop in Scranton, go to Philly, and traveling back then was a lot longer and more, it was like the late 1800s. There wasn't cars yet.
Yeah, people make it out to be like it was, this crazy thing, but traveling was a thing people look forward to. It was a planned thing, but and it's all about telling stories and connecting people. But when I was at the event, I had a different perspective on Scranton, because you had told Eric and I the story of, I guess, the first Black man who moved there, and how the residents kind of wanted him out. And
oh yes, that was a story. I need to maybe reshare that one.
Gather money and stuff like that, and
first Black man to move into the hill section.
Yeah, that was a wild story, that I thought that they handed him money to actually be like, yo, here's some, paper.
They almost did, but he said no.
That's like crazy to me. But
he's like, I'm very much allowed to have this space that I'm trying to own as you own yours. So no, I'm not moving. So keep your money. And the incredible part of it all was like, those white neighbors really raised a lot of money in a short amount of time. They put all of their life savings and money, $1,800 is like $72,000 today, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it all starts with the individual, and then it has a ripple effect in the community. But it starts with understanding your value. But even if good or bad, you got to be able to go to any extent to protect your peace, your freedom.
That's
but
true.
At the same time, I feel like people in the African community don't really understand that concept. So a lot of, if you were to flip the scenario where you have these, people, I guess, call them, Europeans, where they're protecting whatever they're protecting. Not because, they believe that's their, it's their own.
Yeah.
So whoever, if you're the opposition, you got to believe the same. That's the only way, any sort of progress is going to happen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to get trampled. So I kind of understand, and I feel like, you're slowly planting these seeds of ideas and new consciousness in the city.
Thank you for noticing that, and I hope that is
and yeah, that's
the progression.
I appreciate that because it like again my brand. I look at it again as I guess my child, so keeps the brand conscious.
Definitely.
And also, it's good to, chat and be like, hey, what are you doing with, Black Scranton and chat what I'm doing over here as well. But I got another one for you since you didn't answer the first question.
Oh my goodness. I was hoping you'd forget.
Now I got a different one. I'm gonna go with a much lighter one. What is a lesson you learned you feel like you learned a little too late in life?
And I've always worked on this too, but really be unapologetically yourself.
Yo, and I'm not, hey, to zoom in on
it's really the truth. And listen, it's really the truth.
Absolutely.
And I'll say why, and I'll try and give a brief too, but like really be yourself. And there's going to be people that just don't want to see you shine because they want to shine too, and they don't want to see you get there first. And that is okay. But when it starts to like kind of escalate to like hate and jealousy and all that stuff, that's not good. It's not good for anyone, the person who is doing it and the person receiving it. And so if I would have known sooner how to just like, because you could still love these people and let people drift in and out of your life. But if I kind of learned
about boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries, exactly. Boundaries, exactly. So if I learned about boundaries sooner in life, I think I would have been able to expand or maybe explore different sides of myself in a healthier way that I kind of didn't get to. But I mean, I appreciate the journey all the way through, but I feel like I am definitely my most authentic self. And I still feel like I'm becoming my most authentic self too. And I like that because I feel like the more that I try to feel happy and good and do the things that are good for me, when I'm quote unquote working, it doesn't feel like work. And it's just opens you up for abundance because if you're just kind and nice to people, they're going to give that back. And it's just like, the more you do that, it's just like good. So today was an example of that. That's why I love coming to Philly. It's a great time. So I got to skate, meet some nice people and, vibing out, teaching, just great time. So
speaking of today, can you point out 3 lessons from today that you learned? Or just, just from today?
I don't know if I can do 3, but I'll see what I can do.
Anything from the day, I guess.
Or what you can take away from today.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed a few things, actually. These are great questions. Y'all are good. Y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
This is thorough, for real. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because a lot of people, it doesn't matter. I'll answer the question. Let me just stay on track. Definitely learn to have a smidgen more patience. Like I said, I'm trying to be unapologetically myself.
Yes.
This trip was
as you should be at any given moment. That's not, that's not something I feel like anyone should express to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
The person, whoever that is, should understand, that off the bat, unless stated otherwise.
Definitely.
But, definitely expression of self.
Mm-hmm. So just like allowing people kind of more time. So this trip was for me, but I wanted to invite friends because I wanted to like bring people, but I was like, I need to leave at this time. It's a 2-hour event. I have to be here like for my mental health and for the love of roller skating. I have to go. And my friends were like, yeah, for sure. But I was really like by the minute, on 10 by 10. If you get it's from a movie, whatever. So yeah. But my friends, we had a great time. Today was the best day. But just being a little bit more flexible would be okay. So that's one thing I learned today. And also genuinely just smiling more and just going up to people. I don't have a problem like handing out compliments. I love complimenting people. If I like your shoes, I'm going to tell you. If I think your hair looks great, I'm like, whoa, you look nice. Or like, where'd you get that? Or that's cool. That thing you just did, amazing. Like, so I love doing that. And in this space was a great opportunity to do that. So it was cool. And I know the host was kind of getting like tired. It was hot. The sun was blazing. So, but just giving someone an extra smile or extra like, yo, you're doing it. You're killing it.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah. You know, a little kindness goes a long way.
Yeah, it really does.
So, yeah.
So that was the second lesson learned. The third one, maybe slow down because I'm not doing it still. I'm like amped up. I'm just an amped up person all the time. So really taking time to really breathe, slow down, listen to other people, embrace the moment, and stop being so fast paced. But I'm a fast paced person. I'm the electric lady. I can't help it. I'm just energized all the time. I'm turned up. I'm ready to go. But
absolutely. You know, life moves at, you know, your own pace. So whatever pace that you have, is yours.
And like this unity is like calling to me right now. Like, I don't know, energy, same vibes.
Yeah, tell me about it. What do you feel about this?
I don't know. I just feel like I love how it's very multidimensional. And I feel like it just calls to different parts of, I don't know, like different parts of your soul. Like I feel like very connected, like culturally. I feel really connected to like the line work because you have really great. You always have precision. You're pristine, precise.
It's funny because that's something I think about as an artist.
Yeah, you
I'm
got
like,
it.
It's not there yet though, but I
feel
appreciate
like
it.
This is where I want to go. Like I'm like, tell me something.
Awesome.
And I want it to take me to this point of the universe. Maybe I'm just, you know, doing the
happy
most
to
right
chat
now.
more about that off camera.
Yeah, we can relate. We can go a little bit because I've been thinking about. Okay, I don't know if we want to do this off the record, but I'll just say it in 12 words.
Okay.
I think aliens are bugs among us. But anyway, that's what I'm going to say on the topic.
Yeah. Everything, you know, is the universe. And
just outer space and extraterrestrial and all of the space thing and talk now. I have a whole different perspective that's not really out of this world.
I mean,
well, pun intended.
I feel like
that's what I said. I won't go there right now. We'll just.
I mean, we are all kind of out of this world, so you know.
Absolutely.
We all have different stories, regardless of how you look at it. So, yeah. Hopefully, we get to chat about those.
Good questions. You guys are great. Do you just thought of these questions? These are like you're kind of like, you know.
You can't give out the secrets.
Okay, you don't have to give out the sauce. You don't have to give out the sauce, but thank you.
I got one. I'm gonna hit you with one more, and then we'll wrap up. I'm glad
having a good time.
I'm glad you appreciate the questions.
I do.
Yeah, I got one more. I kind of want to honestly go back to my first question.
Oh man. Okay.
That one's out. That one's out. It's out.
I won't pick one, but I can maybe talk about
it. I have a new one. That one's out.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Let's not. That one's out. You ready for this one?
Maybe. All right, tell me.
Would you rather speak all languages or be able to speak to animals?
Y'all are. Let me take a sip of this water real quick.
I got my answer. Bro, I know you're emotionless, so we ain't talking about you.
Okay. Give me a second. I know what I would choose. All animals, period.
That was what you was going with? Damn.
And that's why I needed to take a sip of that water because I was about to impulse wanted to say all languages. But then I thought, absolutely not. I want to know the earth, all animals. I don't really care what any more humans got to say about nothing. What the whales saying? What are the elephants saying? Salamander? Can I hear what you said? Exactly.
For real.
They're probably like, we're doing this because y'all suck.
You know who got more to say? Those ants.
Facts, though. You know, roaches, honestly, what do they have to say? This is a great conversation. I love to talk. You have great questions. Normally, no shade to everybody who has ever interviewed me. It's not what I'm
saying. Yo.
But what I'm going to say.
This is footage, bro.
Here's the thing. I don't really mind.
You're speaking to the mic when you give me that props.
So, and this is real. And no, for real.
I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
People ask me to do interviews all the time in different spaces, different environments, all types of interviews. Most of the time, I'm down to, asterisk. But, I just feel like this is the best interview that I've ever had. So I really appreciate it.
Wow.
Honestly.
Wow.
Great questions.
Thank you. Wow.
Cool conversation. And, obviously you're a friend of mine too. So I was going to pull up regardless, but yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Which I appreciate. But, that's again, very humbling to hear that. Yeah. Again, humbling to hear that. But I appreciate that as well.
Maybe I'm being extra biased too, but that's what I said.
As you should be.
I said what I said.
Should be.
Okay. I said what I said.
Maybe let's see if I could ask one more question.
Okay. I'm here for it.
I feel like you're a person of service and community work, but just service in terms of human. And for me personally, I try to this is how I see the world, and I know race and politics and all that other labels exist, but when I meet someone, I judge them by our interaction and how I feel when I'm around them, how hopefully they feel good when they're around me, but just stuff like that. And regardless of who you are, age, whatever, if there's a connection, we build on the relationship. So for me, I always have looked at people in a much different sense. Maybe being an artist kind of helped, but I feel like you kind of have that same thing in you, where you kind of is in service to I want to say the human race. I really but more particularly, you got to start with where you are. So
Definitely.
The African American community, but I got a question here.
Okay.
That I want to kind of lean into.
All right.
What's your earliest memory of you being in service to another person?
Honestly, being in the womb, and I've been thinking about that for a while. I have a twin brother, so
Hit it with that, sis.
So,
talk about that.
I don't know.
She said I've been thinking about it since the womb.
Well, I've always
That's interesting, though.
I have a twin brother, and I've always.
That's also surprising when you told me that, but I didn't know that. But that's cool. Yeah. That's a cool thing. I always thought when I was a kid.
I know Beyonce just had her Gemini twins, but I feel like Garrett and Glennis are the true Gemini twins. So
she says so. You're wrong.
Beyonce is still. Send me some Ivy Park. Anyway, but yeah, I have a twin brother, and I always felt like and this is made, okay, here's the third thing that I will say.
Okay.
Not being okay to not compromise and practicing it. You're not always going to do it, but my whole life I've always compromised. And being a twin, I always kind of compromised for my twin just because let's just do it. Because as soon as I'm I want it to be like this, and it's oh no. And I'm okay, it's so, and always having to share everything, share your twins, and then go everywhere together. You do everything together. But I love him, And now,
matching clothes.
Yeah, we used to. We were like the Black Phil and Lil, honestly. That was really us. So
you don't match no more?
Sometimes we pull up to each other and we're matching. I'm so who told you that I was gonna wear camo shirts and then a blue shirt? Not even black, but it's something that you wouldn't even. So wild. I don't know. Cool. It's weird how that stuff happens, but. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's my answer.
So with Black Scranton.
Can I ask you the same question? Or
yeah, sure. What was the question I asked you? I know what it is. I guess my earliest memory of being in service to someone was. I remember. My earliest memory of being in service to someone. Now, that's a pretty tough one. Now that, you kind of flipped it. Usually that's not how the show is
it was crazy because that's just been an internal conversation I've been having lately. So
interesting.
Yeah.
For me, this probably is not the right answer, but I'm gonna say when I was in school and this kid borrowed me his pencil, and he asked for it, and I wasn't done with it, and he kind of forcefully took it back, and I showed him a little lesson, and so I think we were both better off for it.
Okay, so. What form? What form of lesson did you show him?
It was just
Okay.
Maybe he might have caught some part of my hand or fingers or something. But this was years ago in middle school. But that's not my earliest form of service. I don't remember have an answer for that.
That's okay.
But hopefully that'll come back to me.
Yeah, or it might develop over time.
Yeah. But I remember when I was a kid, I drew a lot. I've always like drawn. But the one thing about it, I've always drawn freely and given people art. So like I would say that. But that's for me, and that's something I've always done since I was little.
That's cool. You are very generous.
Yes. Thank you.
I mean,
appreciate that.
Maybe I shouldn't say that, but I appreciated the art.
It's on camera now, so. But in all honesty, thank you. Yeah, just with the art, I've always kind of. It's funny because like my older like family members will catch up and they'll be like, "Yo, I remember you was a kid and you drew X, Y, and Z for me," and I was like, "I did what?" But yeah, stuff like that, and I would say that because cool. I feel like art for me is kind of my language and this how I speak to people, and so like when I meet people or whatever, that's kind of like my offering.
I have a question for you.
Yep.
Okay. My question for you is, it's kind of on the topic, it just inspired this question. Has anyone and now with social media, it might be even easier, sent you
DMs?
A picture, DM of some DMs. Art that you forgot? I mean, if you want to go there, okay, we can go there if you want. But
go back to your original
question.
Slid
into your DMs to be like, yo, E, here's some art that you did way back in the day, and being like, wow, kind of like what you said.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Has that happened to you lately, or anything
that
stands out?
That happens all the time, and honestly, the reason why I'm kind of before, with the given, just freely given, there was no really kind of an attachment with my name or anything to it. But when I was at Marywood and recently rebuilt that new library, they have this chalkboard. I want to say maybe 4x6 or something average size in the rooms. And I would go in there, art student, all my friends studying for finals, whatever, boring. Anyway, nah.
No, that's amazing.
But I would go in there and they would be studying, and I would study for maybe 10 minutes, and I kind of need a distraction. So I started drawing on the boards, and then I'll take a picture and I'll just kind of share it on my Instagram and put it on the story. But all my friends know my art. I would say in Scranton, Marywood, or just in that area, no one was doing lettering. So everyone knows.
And that's what stood out to me.
The only person is doing literally lettering in the city. But people started reposting that and started reclaiming it. And so I had to started kind of owning my work in a way and attaching myself to it.
As you should. So that's great. And one thing that I love that Black Scranton has opened up more in my life is having really cool artist friends and being able to use Black Scranton to help promote other people's art and get people to acquire different art and local art and regional art and all these things, or art from anywhere, just collecting real art instead of going to excuse me, any of those bigger department stores or anything, and getting prints, and I still do that sometimes, but at the same time, I kind of just love art, and I love, just the something about knowing that somebody did this. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy because I remember Fun fact: Rose and I actually went to high school together.
Cool.
Charter High School for Architecture and Design.
Dope. That's why I was saying, like, you guys are really. I took like a.
Yeah, we played soccer together as well. We're
cool.
Yeah, we're kind of close, but I want to say lately, not as much.
You know.
Nah. We're pretty dope, and we've kind of known each other since like freshman year. So it's been like, you know, journey through like school, college, life. You know what he's doing now with music
really
and his brand, Black Religion.
Shout out Black Religion. All right, gotta check it out.
And so yeah, we always like you know, kind of connected on stuff like that. But with me as a person, I remember when I was thinking about kind of my brand and you know how I wanted to kind of put it together. As a person, I've never really had a good I don't know. For me, it works, but through the eye of society, I've never had a, you know, good relation with authority. But for me, you know,
same.
It works. So
that's why I had to do my own.
But yeah, exactly. So for me, it was important to connect with people who understood the importance of, you know, what the message is.
Yeah.
And not just get caught up in the confines of, you know, the other distraction. So connecting with you and even, you know, the Black Scranton Center for Arts and Culture.
I know it's
and you know having that being a platform where you know I could you know have a show or something.
Yeah,
that's crazy because now going back to what I was saying earlier about you know the imagination. Me as an artist, I can express more because you know I know you wouldn't come up and be like, yo, don't do that.
Yeah.
And so it's like you know so for me, the message is more direct and it's kind of unfiltered. And for me, that's something I've always protected in my work. Is trying to not really have a lot of people have their ideas and other things, and because once you start gaining traction, is when people are going to come along.
Like maybe you should do it this way.
And try to, you know, kind of help, but not really help, but just kind of inject
try to do it like this?
Their ideas. But
what if we? I'm like, no. Are you going to let me do it, or are you not going to let me?
Exactly.
Do it? Okay, so I understand that, and that's why I wanted to create a space where we can do that. You know.
So with Black Scranton, 2022, where is that going?
So Black Scranton 2022, we're coming in hot with the Black History Month celebration this year. Okay. Traditional first Saturday of February, we're doing the flag raising again. And we're going to have a Black Excellence Gala, information loading. You heard it here first.
Awesome.
So we're going to be doing a Black Excellence Gala and working on the center, having a couple fundraisers, and really reminding people that we have this space that is about to be under construction to be open to a degree or as much as possible by June 10th, 2020.
2022.
2022.
Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to it. I was looking at the photos at the last Juneteenth, and I was like, damn, I probably should have taken that drive out there.
Man, it turned out to be a great.
I know, just like the month of the
I'm
month
still
of
glowing
June.
From that, it was like
the month of June and July was just so intense for me because it was back to back. You
still were able to come out though, like
it was just back to back. I was like, you know.
The mural unveil was incredible, so let's not forget about that.
The unveiling, MLK, Dream Mural.
I wish there was more of us out there.
I was glad you was out there.
Yeah.
You know, I spotted you up the hill.
Yeah, and
across
like,
the street, so that was nice.
The thing with that too,
it was funny because after the, I guess the little promo thing, I was intentionally making my way down to you to take a photo. And I got caught up by some dude who happened to be a mayor of Scranton from back in the day.
Was it Jim Connor?
I don't remember the name. I could give you more details later.
Sorry, I just called people out.
But yeah, and
unfiltered.
and
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
It's okay.
But
He's great.
Yeah, and I was like, and we had a connection, and he was just chatting, telling me about other opportunities and things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was my thing, because I was like, it's an opportunity to talk about Black Scranton and promote, but also
Appreciate
acknowledge
it.
you for showing up and supporting.
You guys did a great job. The mural is great. Love it. It's amazing. I can't wait to do
I kept Eric on point. I kept Eric on point with that.
And honestly, our mural is gonna be better. It's still great. No shade. I love it. Love.
I mean, that's the thing about. I feel like art and music is the same. I look at my art as like a rapper, but like whatever I do, I got to top it. So like
bigger
so regardless, it has to be
the whole side. And like I want a really great. Okay, we'll talk off.
We'll talk off air. But to kind of like just like wrap up again, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been
first
so much fun.
guest in the studio. We've kind of shot in here, but no guest.
Appreciate you.
First guest in the studio. So thank you. I guess that's a good omen as well. Thanks for blessing this space as well.
All blessings.
Yeah. Thank you. And shout out to Black Scranton. But just for, people watching, again, we started with, the lack of recognition. For people watching who don't know you, could you let them know where to find you on social media, website,
on these internet streets or whatever?
Yeah. Or these real streets.
Or these real streets.
Just so you know, she a G. So.
I mean, I be out here, different lanes, different times. But you can find me and what I'm doing at Black Scranton on all social media. The color, the city, the people, the city, Or you can follow me at _Glennis. And I'm here because I'm skating, and you can follow me at The Electric Lady also. But that's how you can find me. And also, I just be in Scranton, around town, speaking for the people, trying to make some things shake, working on my center, doing that thing. So
if you're in Scranton, get to know Glennis, and
I'll show you where everything's at.
Get to know Black Scranton as well. And again, thank you for being here and spending some time.
Been fun,
and I appreciate you and your time as well. Dumb, Naked, and Broke. Until next time. Yo, it's been another episode. Dumb, Naked, and Broke. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts: Apple, YouTube, Spotify, and tune in next week for more fire content.